Check this shit.
What's your opinion on that?
Yo, what's your opinion?
To each his own.
To each his own,
But I think it's a way to do everything. I think that the positive message that he's trying to push, he didn't have to drop his flag to do so. You heard? Like, we in a war right now.
What war, Jim?
Us being in the position and for the things that...
Hold the fuck up. What? This nigga said he in the war, okay? This nigga said he was in the war. The homie Hogan's got the drop my flag challenge going on, right? And this bird motherfucker right here, bird gang bird, right? Pigeon, park rat. He talking about the homie folks didn't have to drop his flag to deliver the message because, and his reason for not dropping the flag because Damu at war. What war this motherfucker been in? What yard he been in? Huh? This motherfucker ain't never even been to jail before. Like, you know, what penitentiary yard was he stomping in? You know, the war where? What war you been in, homie? Because I ain't seen you on no battlefields, motherfucker. Now here perpetuating this bullshit. Like you a real banger. You's a studio gangster. You ain't been blood enough in your life, you fake fashion Damu. You look real cute, suck ass nigga. I challenge you. I'ma give you a challenge. How about I bust your ass and then you drop your flag? Huh? How about I come to your block? I'm from Brooklyn. Alright? I'll fight you right on Lennox Avenue. Alright? Beat the shit out you. Little ass around and show you some wall shit. Alright? And be careful how you respond, motherfucker. Be very, very mindful of how you respond. Cause I'm coming to the block. I'll fight you on your block for free. We ain't gotta do this for no money. We ain't gotta do this for shit. And when I bust your ass, you lose your shit, you drop your motherfucker. Hey, you talking about you wanna been in war? I wanna see how much war you been in when you going against the warrior then. Bird nigga. You ain't on nobody line up. You ain't no big homie motherfucker. You ain't got no bitch. You ain't even got a star or a rim. You ain't got shit. You just scared. You the fucking bag boy. One of these niggas kept you around that long because you was paying out this motherfucker. But you're about to go broke. You ain't got no little homies around you. Every time I see you on motherfucking television, peeking and sneaking around, you ain't around no motherfucking body. Where the little bloods at? What wars you stopping? What lives you saving? Motherfucker, my mans and them out here every day in these streets, talking to all these little young homies, trying to keep them out of the penitentiary and out of a motherfucking cell. Motherfucker, you ain't been in nobody's cells, huh? Stupid ass nigga. Motherfucker, you been in the war. You got motherfuckers like me, bad vibes, a whole bunch of motherfuckers that did 1,000 years in the motherfucking box, and you talking that war shit. Where was you at when the Billies was getting it on, huh? You wasn't nowhere around. You wasn't for no war in the yard, and you definitely wasn't for no war in the street. Stop fronting like you bust your guns like that. You don't let your nuts hang, boy. You's a bird. Remember, you the capo of the bird gang, nigga. You's a pigeon. Fly, you son of a stupid motherfucker.
It is remarkable how suddenly everyone seems to feel empowered to criticize Jim Jones, treating him as an easy target. Specifically, older men, some over the age of 50, are now attempting to question his standing and undermine his reputation based on old street politics. This situation is quickly escalating. Online video platforms have essentially become a battlefield, particularly when people start debating Jim Jones's former gang affiliations and old ties. It's clear that many of these grown men are still engaging in old disputes instead of focusing on their current lives. Now, Jones's reputation, which is partly rooted in his close connections, is facing serious challenges, and the critics are not random individuals. A man named Mandue, along with an associate known as Bad Vibes, has publicly taken issue with Jones, attacking his name as if they had a personal grievance. Mandue, in particular, has been very vocal. Approximately a month ago, he used his own platform, the Real Big Fruit podcast, to publicly air his stories and claims against Jones. He has been pushing a narrative that he possesses the real truth, seemingly trying to strip Jones of respect in the public eye. All of his statements can be found on the Real Big Fruit podcast for those who wish to view the content. The entire issue reportedly began because Mandue disagreed with Jim Jones's reaction to one of their mutual associates choosing to disengage from gang life to drop the flag in an effort to guide the younger generation toward a more positive path. Mandue strongly objected to Jones's stance on the matter. Let's now turn to a direct clip from Mandue, which set the tone for the subsequent events.
Check this shit.
What's your opinion on that?
Yo, what's your opinion?
To each his own.
To each his own,
But I think it's a way to do everything. I think that the positive message that he's trying to push, he didn't have to drop his flag to do so. You heard? Like, we in a war right now.
What war, Jim?
us being in the position and for the things that...
Hold the fuck up. Whoa. This nigga said he in the war, okay? This nigga said he was in the war. The homie Hokers got the drop my flag challenge going on, right? And this bird motherfucker right here, bird gang bird, right? Pigeon, park rat. He talking about the homie Focus didn't have to drop his flag to deliver the message because, and his reason for not dropping the flag because Damu at war. What war this motherfucker in? What yard he been in? Huh? This motherfucker ain't never even been to jail before. Like, you know, what penitentiary yard was he stomping in? You know, the war where? What war you been in, homie? Because I ain't seen you on no battlefields, motherfucker. Now here perpetuating this bullshit. Like you a real banger. You's a studio gangster. You ain't been blood enough in your life, you fake fashion Damu. You look real cute, suck ass nigga. I challenge you. I'ma give you a challenge. How about I'll bust your ass and then you drop your flag? Huh? How about I'll come to your block? I'm from Brooklyn. Alright? I'll fight you right on Lennox Avenue. Alright? Beat the shit out you. Little ass around and show you some wall shit, alright? And be careful how you respond, motherfucker. Be very, very mindful of how you respond. Cause I'm coming to the block. I'll fight you on your block for free. We ain't gotta do this for no money. We ain't gotta do this for shit. And when I bust your ass, you lose your shit, you drop your motherfucker flag. You talking about you wanna be in the war? I wanna see how much war you been in when you going against the warrior then. Bird nigga. You ain't on nobody line up. You ain't no big homie motherfucker. You ain't got no bitch. You ain't even got a star or a rim. You ain't got shit. You just scared. You the fucking bag boy. All these niggas kept you around that long because you was paying out the ass motherfucker. But you're about to go broke. You ain't got no little homies around you. Every time I see you on motherfucking television, peeking and sneaking around, you ain't around no motherfucking body. Where the little bloods at? What wars you stopping? What lives you saving? Motherfucker, my mans and them out here every day in these streets, talking to all these little young homies, trying to keep them out of the penitentiary and out of a motherfucking cell. Motherfucker, you ain't been in nobody's cells, huh? Stupid ass nigga. Motherfucker, mighty been in the war. You got motherfuckers like me, bad vibes, a whole bunch of motherfuckers that did 1,000 years in the motherfucking box, and you talking that war shit. Where was you at when the Billies was getting it on, huh? You wasn't nowhere around. You wasn't for no war in the yard, and you definitely wasn't for no war in the street. Stop fronting like you bust your guns like that. You don't let your nuts hang. Boy, you's a bird. Remember, you the capo of the bird gang, nigga. You's a pigeon. Fly, you son of a...
Following the release of that clip, Mandue and Bad Vibes were subsequently featured in a discussion with Math Hoffa. This meeting was arranged specifically because Math Hoffa saw the video clip mentioned earlier and recognized the importance of the situation. Math Hoffa did not overlook the content and facilitated a face-to-face discussion with the two men, which will be analyzed next. However, before discussing the follow-up meeting, we need to focus on this initial moment, as it clearly illustrates the root cause of the tension. Honestly, Jim Jones has been enduring a difficult few months lately. Mandue was demonstrably upset with Jim Jones's response to a question posed by Fat Joe, and he made his strong disapproval known publicly. Despite all the controversy, it is important not to dismiss Jim Jones's reputation entirely, as that would be unfair and inaccurate. Was Jimmy a frontline aggressor or savage who directly charged into every conflict? No, that was not his role. However, it's true that everyone handles their position and responsibilities in life differently.
I have someone here who can explain the origination of the Blood Nation in New York City and kind of tell us where it started and where he sees it going now. Let's welcome Mandue. Welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm 10 toes down. Yeah, thanks for having me. So now, I saw a clip of you going full Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, I know. I'm a 70s kid. I can't help it.
Yeah,
okay.
On Jim Jones.
Jim Jones.
What started that?
All right. Well, I've been home 5 years. Today is my 5th year anniversary of me being out of prison. And I'm blessed to be off of parole as well too. For the first time in my life, I ain't been on paper since the age of 11. And I'm 58 years old. So from the age of 11 to today is the first time I'm not on paper that ain't mine.
Right.
And well, what started that, like I said, I've been on 5 years now. And the first week I got out of prison, I joined a group called Vocal, Voices of Community Activists and Leaders. That's my first week out. And I've been doing the works. I got help get rid of the box. along with my brother Bad Vibes. He joined me. I reached out to him. Stack Stone, salute to my brother Stack Stone. He started it. We followed his lead. He was already doing it when we got out.
Right.
So I joined that organization because like what I'm doing out here, I was doing in prison. All of what I'm out here reaching and preaching and teaching is what I was doing in them yards for 30 plus years. You know, and because I'm Panther raised. So from what what I know I contributed, and brothers like Bad Vibes and many other brothers that's from the first generation, we know what we contributed, we know what we started it for.
Right.
It's not just me, I couldn't start it by myself.
Right.
I helped spread it, but I'm definitely with day one. So I helped put pen to paper with that too. I came up with the ideology, like which direction we're gonna go in with this. So we all know who George and Jonathan Jackson is. So that's why New York Damu don't look like West Coast Damu, because we're not a street gang.
Never
Prison
mind.
revolutionary.
Right.
And we're not a gang, period. We're prison revolutionaries. The media labeled us as gangs. The prison administration labeled us as a gang.
And if we was to be honest too, we took on the attributes of it too, of a gang. That's what we here to eradicate now, put it back in its proper perspective.
Not originally. That came later on down the line.
Right.
Originally, it was all revolutionary. Because we was in there fighting ERU, we was in there fighting Netta and Latin King COs. Because they used to line us up, you know, when we was less than 100. And when we was, way when we was less than 100,
Yeah, it was
and
less
we
than
just
100.
almost 200
That's
deep.
what I was about to say, and not to interrupt you, but once we lost track of the numbers, like far as the numbers that we had, we lost the whole spirit of the movement. Right? That's when it took on the atrocities of a street gang, and it actually placed itself in that for a long time. Right?
So
But
what was it about Jim Jones that made you say,
Well,
I want to fight you?
It was because I know how he got that flag. It was through my family that he got that flag. My brother is the one I brought in and gave him position to be able to bring other people in. But under the premise of revolution. Because my little brother is also born in the same house that I'm born in. He's just not as serious about the revolution as I am because he ain't lived in the places that I lived to make me grasp that. Because I lived in prison, so I'm reading revolutionary books behind enemy lines. So I have no other choice but to take this shit seriously. Because I'm reading it and I'm behind enemy lines. In fact, I'm going through conditions. I'm going through conditions worse than George and Jonathan. Like we did more box time than George did time.
Yeah.
Period. We did more time in the box in solitary confinement.
Yeah, I
than he
did George Jackson.
Than he did, but he was our inspiration for us to do what we were doing inside them prison yards, in the prison cells, in the prison companies, in the prisons. Period.
Right.
So my response to when I see Jim about with the homie Hogan's 4/5 with the drop your flag. Now I'm not with the proper term that he used with the drop your flag term, but it is what it is.
Right.
Because you get that's like a total. It's not respectful. A lot of us died and fried for that shit, and with good intentions. We ain't talking about trying to hold something up and with bad intentions, with the negative connotation that we come behind the red flag or any color flag. Because the media, because when you read all those colors, all the history of every color flag, they all were revolutionaries in the beginning. Especially when they minority gangs.
Right.
Every single last one of them were to protect their community from an outside oppressor.
Even with respect to the Latino gangs too that we went up against in the Great War when we rose from this. Even them too, right?
When I made mention of every color flag, I included them as well.
Yeah, like Kings and all of them.
Right? I'm not gonna mention one color, I said every color. Right? So every last one of them, I read all their literature. I had to. Because at one time we were ops. And a lot of them we done popped on each other and took each other literature. We done ran in each other's cells and took each other literature while we popped it.
Right.
So I know what the op is thinking.
So you feel like Jim represents a different side of...
It's not even what he represents. It's that I never truly seen him because I'm living on where I'm living at. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm bopping the way I'm bopping. I'm at the day one. So I always seen him as an entertainer. Always seen him as a celebrity.
That's what he was.
That's all I seen him as. I wasn't mad with him. I wasn't mad with him when he stayed in his entertainment celebrity lane. But the moment you because the influence that you have, the moment you say something that the real street people, the real guys that's in the street trying to save lives and keep people out the cells in hell, now you're gonna say something that's gonna affect my work. Because I truly believe in saving these people. I truly don't want these little young brothers inside these cells.
Right.
I truly don't want them out here killing each other neither. I wasn't even allowing them to cut and slash and fight each other in prison without me having to get in between that. So you think I want to come on the street and watch them murder each other?
No.
Even though the rate is lower than it was when me and my generation was out here murdering each other, I definitely don't want them to escalate to that.
Right.
I want it to be non-existent. You know what I'm trying to say? But because he has way more influence than I do,
Right.
on a global scale, everybody know who he is, they know his face. They don't know my face. But I'm working hard. I'm busting no Diddy. I'm busting, I'm putting it in to save my community. Me and my brothers, and it's mad brothers in this non-profit that come from this gang culture, that's the pioneers of this city as far as bringing down the violence rates in the city. That's putting their body between bodies and bullets. That part. So when you're gonna be an entertainer and you're gonna rep that as an entertainer, I need you to make comments as an entertainer. Don't answer true life questions.
Well, what was the line in particular?
The line in particular when he spoke about the war, right? And I understand, and I said it in another podcast where we spoke on, and I said, matter of fact, our platform.
Mandue,
So
Bad Vibes.
on the Bad Vibes and Mandue and the Mandu Warrior channel on our platform. So on that platform, we both addressed it about what we know he been through some wars. We ain't saying the dude ain't been through no wars, but he ain't been through the wars.
He wasn't through that.
He ain't been through the wars for Damu though. Right. He went through wars for his career. He went through wars to put his brand on the map. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He didn't go through the wars that we went through for the flag.
Yo, and if I was to say too mad, that way he answered, that touched us. Like, we're like, what? Yo, so much that we sacrifice and lost. Not just time, man. Time, you know. It's so much that we sacrifice and lost. To hear somebody who corporate America funds to run across the stage, even if it's just with a red flag on, we couldn't connect with that, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I heard it. I called Mandu early in the morning, sent it to him. I said, look what this dude said.
Yeah, I responded.
That really bothered us. Of course.
Yeah, I responded after
But you
he's seen it before me.
Right.
He sent it to my phone. I didn't watch it that night. He hit me early in the morning, yo, you watched the video that I sent you. I said, nah, I'm working. I'm out on the street saving lives. Like super nigga, in real life. So when I said, I'm gonna watch it now. I'll watch it.
And that's when the internet seen it. I see a total.
So what you seen was a real reaction.
Yeah, real time.
In real time. Because after I seen it on my phone, I seen a minute and a half, the opening. When he smoked, I said, oh no, I couldn't put it on the TV. So when you see my reaction, that's real time reaction.
Now Jim being one of the first New York Bloods, well, to gain popularity, why haven't you guys ever had a conversation together?
We should acknowledge that Jim Jones still played a role, and we shouldn't dismiss his contributions. He even spends time on the West Coast, associating with people like Whack 100 and others. The critical development was when Math Hoffa hosted Mandue and Bad Vibes on his show. I will pin Mandue's channel in the comments so that viewers can see the full discussion for themselves. Math Hoffa sat down with both men and directly questioned them about the entire controversy. Now, let's analyze the details of that encounter. We have all observed Jim Jones's influence extending from the East Coast to the West Coast, and over the years, I have not seen him do anything truly dishonorable. People may poke fun at him, for example. Cameron once had him perform a one-handed cartwheel in an old music video. Though people still joke about that, it's only harmless entertainment, not a serious indictment of his character. The wildest claim currently circulating is the attempt to suggest Jim Jones is not actually from Harlem. This line of argument makes little sense. Critics are asserting that because he didn't move to Harlem until 1991, he should somehow be considered an outsider. That was 34 years ago. If a person has lived in the same neighborhood for over 3 decades, that is undeniably their community. There is no real basis for debate here, and the math simply doesn't add up. He is from Harlem, unequivocally. If someone has represented Harlem for over 30 years, you cannot suddenly try to refute their connection to the area. I understand the current dynamic. Everyone online is trying to turn a narrative against Jim Jones because it has become the trendy thing to do, especially since Max B's return has created a buzz in the culture. It feels like open season on Jim Jones's entire public image. People are dredging up everything: old feuds, rumors, past issues involving his girlfriend, and even jokes about his mother's involvement with a Dominican man who supposedly resembles Rowdy Rebel. It appears that people are desperately searching for any way to embroil his name in unnecessary drama. I must give credit to Mandue because I understand the impact of his specific comment. He looked straight into the camera and challenged Jones by asking, "Jim, what war have you ever been in? You haven't even been to county jail." That line was powerful and caused a momentary silence across the internet. Whether fair or not, if an individual has never been involved in real-life street battles or served jail time, it often leads people to question the image they have built. However, we cannot forget the previously leaked wiretap audio from the 6ix9ine situation, where Jim Jones was heard discussing having 6ix9ine super violated. Everyone knows what that type of language implies. That moment alone suggested he was not entirely removed from the chaos. The online conversation has been heated, and people have a lot to say, but the true story runs deeper than the superficial attacks being made. The situation became even crazier when that old wiretap clip resurfaced, which critics immediately seized upon as proof to question Jim's entire street credibility. Online commentators love to take a single moment and spin it into an elaborate storyline, suddenly claiming Jim was running some kind of secret empire. Yet, none of those allegations were ever definitively proven, though people continue to recycle them as if they were breaking news. Mandue, meanwhile, consistently doubled down, stating he was not trying to disrespect Jim but would not sugarcoat the facts either. He clearly stated that he does not believe Jim put in the extensive, difficult groundwork that others from that era did. He delivered this assessment with a noticeable confidence that changed the tone of the whole discussion. Bad Vibes was right there, co-signing Mandue's points, detailing timelines, names, and old events as if recalling historical records. When Math Hoffa released the interview, the comment section immediately erupted. People chose sides, debated street rankings from the early 2000s, and acted as if they were privy to situations they had only heard about online. It devolved into a wide-ranging debate about who truly lived that life and who was merely associated with those who did. Jim's name was constantly mentioned, with new opinions adding pressure. Some claimed he was protected, others that he was underrated, and still others that he was overhyped. Every possible perspective emerged. Through all of this, Jim Jones has yet to sit down and directly address any of the claims, which only amplifies the noise. It is wild how quickly this entire situation grew into something far larger than Mandue initially intended. Once the Math Hoffa interview began circulating, other online channels immediately jumped in, reacting and dissecting every sentence as if it were courtroom testimony. Suddenly, everyone claimed to be an expert on Jim's past, as if they had personally inspected his resume from the 1,990 seconds. Some viewers claimed Jim only held his position because he was surrounded by real hitters who backed him heavily. Others argued he earned his spot simply by being consistent and connected to the right people. Then there was the group asserting, no, Jim wasn't built like that, stating it with the confidence of people who have never even met him. It turned into a circus incredibly fast. New voices soon joined in old affiliates, people who once stood near Dipset, and even people who barely knew Jim but wanted a piece of the spotlight. Everyone began dropping stories, but many of them conflicted. One person would say one thing, and the next would completely contradict it. It was like a competition to see who could create the most sensational version of Jim Jones's past. The most unbelievable part is that every time a new clip drops, people start revisiting old footage, concert moments, street interviews, and behind-the-scenes videos, trying to analyze Jim's body language like experienced detectives. They slow down videos, zoom in, and take screenshots, doing everything except finding the actual truth. This whole mess just gets louder by the hour. The line, "Rip, I just ended the club," was essentially a statement meaning that someone needed to be permanently pushed out of the way or wiped off the board. This is the kind of talk that made everyone instantly raise their eyebrows. While I don't personally know Mandue or Bad Vibes, I commend both of those men for speaking their truth loudly and clearly. However, I can't deny that Mandue spoke with that intense, classic New York energy, loud and ready for an argument. Every time he spoke, he used that aggressive city tone that makes you feel debated even when he's just explaining something. That heavy voice some New York men have, where it sounds like they've been yelling their whole lives, that's the vibe. Imagining people approaching you with that booming voice, trying to pressure you, is quite a scenario. Picture going to Los Angeles and someone confronting you with that powerful tone, asking, "Where are you from, bro?" and sounding like they came straight out of a hardcore album intro. It's wild, because some of these older men still carry that same intensity as if they never left the battlefield, and one has to wonder where that attitude originated. But seriously, what are your thoughts? Should men over 50 still be engaging in this type of behavior, or is it past time to let go of all that extra energy? Drop your thoughts below.